Hey everybody, welcome back to Tyke and Tina's Adventures. Today we are diving into a tough but important truth
Yep.
regarding almost everybody,
Yeah.
and that is job security is dead.
Yeah. It really is. And so if you are stuck in a job that drains you and you're constantly living in that fear of being the next one to be laid off, this video is definitely for you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, we are having so much fun creating these videos for you all to watch. And one thing we've noticed in our analytics on the channel is that most of our viewers, most of the hours of view time are coming from people who haven't even subscribed to our channel. So we would like to ask you, please, if you can, we encourage you and we ask you to please subscribe to our channel. So all you have to do is pause right now, go hit that subscribe button, make sure you give us a like, make sure you hit the notification bell because that will tell you every time we have a new video come out. And this is just one way for our channel to get
Community.
to get that YouTube algorithm going so it keeps pushing out videos so we can get more community, more people that are like-minded and want to learn about the things that we are hoping to inspire people about. So we really appreciate you. Thanks a bunch for subscribing, and we'll get back to the video. Okay, so we're talking about the death of job security. Let's be honest. Most companies, they aren't loyal anymore, right?
No. Mm-mm.
They're not. And to be fair, they really don't have a choice. We have all kinds of new things coming from tech to AI, outsourcing labor. Gosh, when companies can go overseas and pay somebody $2 an hour to do a job that here in the States costs $20 an hour, you really can't blame them.
Yeah.
You know, they can get cheaper labor rates, and there's a number of external and internal forces. It's just getting harder for companies to meet the bottom line without kind of staying competitive in this workspace. So, you know, you can't blame them, but we have to take care of ourselves. You can work hard for decades, but downsizing, automation, economic shifts, all of that can just wipe it out overnight.
Well, and I know personally because it happened to me. I lost my job at 63 years old. I was very well experienced in my career field.
Yep.
And I can tell you though, at that what seems like a dark day for most people, I had never really lost a job in my entire career.
It definitely wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me and to us.
Yeah, because a lot of us are in that mindset of, you know, you just go to work, that's what you do. And so we kind of were planning for retirement, but we wanted to stay working until we had everything in place. And I'm sure a lot of you are like that too. Like, oh, just one more thing, just one more bill paid off, just one more thing, just a little bit more money in my accounts. There's always going to be one more thing. It's always not going to be a good enough time. So we're talking today about, you know, it's happened to a lot of us, and it's happened to people that we don't even know. You have to stay loyal to yourself and to your family, and you have to set goals. You have to prepare for your future, and you have to know what you want your future to look like. And then you have to start taking those steps to move forward. So for us, it was slow travel and early retirement. And until we kind of were forced to make that mindset shift, we would still be stuck in that same rat race like some of you are. So don't do that to yourself. Listen to the advice that we give you, and let's make this happen for you too, just like it's happening for us.
There's plenty of room for everybody in the pool.
Yes.
So let's talk about how do we escape that rat race. So the question is really this: so how do you get out of the rat race trap? Well, first you have to start with your mindset.
Yeah.
You've got to shift your mindset because job loyalty is dead, and in a lot of ways it's better that way.
It really is.
You're always trading time for money, right? So you have something to offer an employer, and they give you money for that time and that skill or whatever it may be that you do for them.
We work a lot, Tyke and I do, on our mindset. And one of the best things that we did to help with this is to work with our financial expert, Lisa Smith. And she talks a lot about, you know, you have to have what's your mindset around money, what's your earliest money memory, things like that. We all remember sitting at the kitchen table or in the family room and having our parents say something like, money doesn't grow on trees. My dad used to say random things like, stop letting out all the paid air. You know, we all have stories like that. So we all have these mindset and these really ground in money stories. So you got to do the work and figure out where you're at with money and your mindset. So we have now stopped trading time for money. We put our money to work, we send it off to do its job, and we go and do fun things that we want to do in our early retirement. Mindset shift can be a difficult transition. We've been having these old mindsets about you got to go to work, you got to do a 9-to-5 job, you've got to get a good job with a good company, and you got to climb the ladder, you know, work your way up to where you're like a manager, supervisor, making good money, and then you've got to stay there for like 30 or 40 years.
And do a job that you don't like.
And yeah,
sometimes.
You might not even be happy with it.
I heard that when I was growing up. You may not like the job, but it's going to take care of you when you get older.
You gotta have security, you gotta have a 401k. Maybe you still are lucky enough to have a job with a pension, but maybe not.
Yeah.
So
a lot of those went away.
yeah, and most people don't even think about retiring before they're 65 years old.
And really it's more common now to hear the number 67, 68,
72.
70, 72.
I hear so many people now say, I'm never going to be able to retire, and that's just sad. So let's work on your mindset. We're not going to think this way anymore. This has to change.
Talk about changes. One of the things that you can start with is fairly easy. You start cutting your expenses. Think about simpler living, simply leaving things behind, and more freedom. And budgeting is a must. So yeah, that just sounds like going to the dentist. But a Gallup survey found that about 32% of American households prepare a budget, a written budget, or use some type of software for a spending plan.
Only 32%?
Yeah, that's a pretty low number.
Wow.
And that number varies, but Gallup's usually a pretty reliable source. And when you think about it, if you're watching this and you don't have a budget, hey, you know what? You're part of the Americans that don't. But you have to know how much money you have coming in and how much money you have going out. I spent a lot of years in business, and if you worked for a company that didn't know what their financial statement looked like and they didn't know what their cash flow looked like, you were destined to not be a company anymore.
Yeah.
You're going to go out of business. So it's the same with your family and your budget. And if you want to change and you're trying to change, this is a key element. Figure out where you're at. Where are you starting? Yep. I promise you, there's plenty of other people in the same boat you are. Whether it's credit card debt, too many cars, too many toys that you never have time to use.
Stop the guilt trip, because you got to start somewhere. So all the choices you've made in the past are in the past. We're going to start from here, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to be kinder to ourselves, and we're going to give ourselves grace, and we're just going to get it all together. What are you making? What are you spending?
Yep.
And then once you have all that stuff, you can look at that and say, how much did I spend on eating out last month? Mm-hmm. Maybe we can do something a little different. And you're going to be grateful that you did it. You're going to find some subscriptions that you don't use that you can cancel. You're going to find duplicate things that maybe you're like, wait, I'm still paying for that? So it's really going to be beneficial for you to make this budget list. Use an app if you want to. There's a lot of things that'll just connect with all of your accounts and feed you the information. It's really easy to do. So no excuses. Know your money. Mm-hmm.
And one of the key things we did is within our downsizing, we started a side hustle. Mm-hmm. Of course, one of them is our YouTube ventures, but also we did we started selling things on Marketplace and eBay. So some things you can do.
Yeah.
You can sell or flip goods, sell the things you have, or buy things and sell them for more money on eBay, Craigslist, Marketplace. You can do freelance consulting, content creation. There's things that you are passionate about, I promise you, that can make you money.
Yeah.
And there's things you know that you have an advantage in, and maybe it's things that nobody else knows, whether it's guitar lessons or how to sing, how to write, how to draw. There's innumerable things you can do beyond just those merchant sites like eBay and Craigslist.
Well, and that's what's great about YouTube.
Yeah.
Is if you're over 40, YouTube is the perfect place for you to make some money.
Yeah.
Like Tyke said, we all have something that we can share with others. So don't be afraid. Do what we're doing. Start a YouTube channel. And we want to thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that now.
Please.
Hit that like button. And we really appreciate it. The next thing you can do is invest in assets, not status. So you need to build income streams that don't need a boss's approval. So once you get your money working for you, it never takes a day off. It never argues. It does the job you tell it to do while you're doing what you love. So make your money work for you so that you don't have to work for a boss anymore. So this is what we did. We've talked about this a little bit on our channel, but if you're new here, we sold our home, we downsized, we kind of transitioned to the motorhome, and then full-time travel. So we have no home, we have no motorhome, we have no place to land. We sold everything we have except some souvenirs and memories and things like that. So we have started our life slow traveling, and right now we're in Southeast Asia. We live in hotels. We eat street food and lounge food at the hotels, and we have new adventures, and that beats a cubicle and a work commute every day of the week.
Yeah, and the workplace drama, especially if you're in
don't even
supervisory
mention that.
positions.
Yeah,
and
if you're a people manager, I'm sorry, it's a tough place to
it
be.
can be tough. Yeah.
This process didn't happen overnight. We started working on this a year to a year and a half before we actually jumped off and got on the plane. So you have to give yourself time. It takes the mindset work. It takes lots of time to declutter, to figure out which things you want to keep. All the sentimental stuff takes a little longer. Just getting the groove of like getting rid of stuff kind of takes a minute. So give yourself time. And then you've got to set up your investment accounts, your brokerage accounts, so that your money is working for you like we did. And then we can travel with confidence. So,
And that year goes by that we did it in, went by pretty quickly.
It
Now,
does.
I was focused 80% of my time on decluttering and downsizing our assets,
Yep.
Or lack thereof of assets, just to get that done. And that may not be where you're at, but start slow. Think about it like eating the elephant. You don't eat an elephant in one bite, right? It's one bite at a time. So give yourself a little bit of credit and patience for pursuing it
Yeah.
and moving forward. And even if it's only a few minutes a day, it's a start, right?
Yeah.
It's like exercising. If you haven't exercised ever or in years, you can't go bench press, what you once did when you were a teenager overnight. Think
Yeah.
about it that way. Give yourself a little time. But the key is to stick with it. The key is to consistently do it on a regular basis. And if you skip things for a few days, don't kick yourself to the curb.
Yeah,
just
get
pick
back
it up
into
again
it.
and get back on the horse and keep going.
Yeah. So if you are planning to retire someday, and I hope that all of you are someday soon, and maybe you're lucky enough to have already retired, but if you haven't retired yet, then you need to have a plan in place for this to happen. It's not just going to happen without some focus and determination and a lot of mindset work to get out of the rat race mentality. So you don't need anyone's permission. You don't need to wait for permission. Job security may be dead, but your freedom is not dead.
Right.
You just have to reach out and take it. There is this big old river of money flowing right in front of you, and there's plenty of it for everyone. So just dip your bucket in and take your share. Please let us know in the comments what would change if you didn't have to clock in at work tomorrow. One thing. Let's start dreaming.
Yeah, start thinking. You'll be surprised what comes to mind.
Yeah. And don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on our journey of freedom, fun, and early retirement.